contractual agreement to help NBA YoungBoy get off house arrest.
NBA YoungBoy's wife finally breaks her silence on YB cheating. And when I say finally, I mean this woman has been holding it together through things that would have sent most people spiraling on Instagram Live at 2 a.m., through the arrests, through the court cases, through public humiliation, through the Instagram stories, through the babies plural. She kept quiet through all of it, posting family photos like the internet didn't just watch her whole life get disrespected in real time. But something shifted, and today we're breaking down exactly what pushed her to that edge, because this story is way deeper than what the blogs are telling you. Because Jaslyn Michelle, the woman NBA YoungBoy tattooed on his body, the woman he called his wife, the woman who gave up her whole quiet life to be by his side, she has been silent for a long, long time. But silence doesn't mean she's okay. Silence doesn't mean she's blind. And silence damn sure doesn't mean she doesn't know what's going on. Y'all need to hear this, because this ain't just celebrity gossip. This is a real woman, a real relationship, and a real pattern that's been playing out in front of millions of people for years. Let me break it down for y'all. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning, and I mean the real beginning. Before the babies, before the tattoos, before the side chicks started posting stories, Jaslyn Michelle Hayes, born February 8th, 2002, so when she first came into YoungBoy's life, she was young, like really young. And YoungBoy, Kentrell Deshaun Galden, born October 20th, 1999, was already one of the most chaotic, controversial, and confusingly talented artists in the whole rap game. Now here's what people forget about YoungBoy. This man does not do relationships quietly. Every single woman he has ever been with has eventually become public knowledge. Every single one. The difference with Jaslyn? She came in at a time when YB's personal life was already a full-blown soap opera, and she still chose to step into that. By the time Jaslyn showed up on the scene publicly around 2021, YoungBoy already had, keep up with me here, multiple children with multiple women. We're talking Nisha, the mother of Caden, Star Thigpen, the mother of Cameron, Drea Simone, the mother of Casey. Then there's Iyanna Mayweather, yeah, Floyd's daughter, or who he was engaged to. And in between all of that, there were more. The pattern was already established before Jaslyn ever posted her first picture with him. So why Jaslyn? Why did she become the one he actually married, or at least called his wife publicly? That's the question nobody's really answered. And that's where this story gets deep. Here's the real tea on how Jaslyn and YoungBoy's relationship escalated so fast. These two first got publicly connected around early 2021, and almost immediately, things got serious. Like, skip 5 steps serious. By the time the public even knew who Jaslyn was, she was already deep in. No cap, this wasn't some slow burn love story. This was YoungBoy moving fast like he always does, locking in a woman before the last situation even fully cooled off. Now, what made people actually believe this one was different? 2 things, the tattoo and the title. YoungBoy got Jaslyn's name inked on him, and not in some small, forgettable spot. This man put her name on his body in a place that's visible, that's permanent, that's a statement. And in the world of YoungBoy, where you know he ain't exactly the sentimental poetry type, a tattoo means something. The streets notice that. Fans notice that. Even people who don't follow his personal life notice that. He also started calling her his wife publicly. Not girlfriend, not baby mama, wife. That distinction matters because YoungBoy has never, not with Iyanna, not with any of the others, thrown that word around casually. And when a man of his status, his wealth, his fame says, "That's my wife," it carries weight. It sends a message to everybody else in the picture. Jaslyn leaned into it. She changed her energy online. She became more present, more visible, posting with YB, posting their kids, showing the domestic side of life that YoungBoy has always tried to project when he's in his "I'm a family man now" era. And then, like clockwork, the pattern started all over again. But here's where it gets crazy, because while Jaslyn was settling into this wife role, building a family, having babies, YoungBoy was out here living a completely different life in the spaces between. Let me be clear about something. YoungBoy has never been faithful. I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying that because the evidence has been public, documented, and repeated so many times that it's basically become a known variable in the equation. If you're dating YoungBoy, you're not dealing with a man who's gonna sit still. That's just the reality of the situation, gang. The first time fans really started clocking that something was off in Jaslyn's relationship was when social media started connecting dots between YoungBoy's activity and the activity of other women around him. We're talking Instagram follows, mysterious likes, women posting in locations that lined up with YoungBoy's whereabouts, the kind of circumstantial evidence that ain't definitive alone, but when you stack it up, it tells a story. Jaslyn said nothing. She kept posting, kept showing up to events, kept playing the role, and people at first respected that, like, okay, she's not about the drama, she's mature, she's holding it down. But there's a difference between being mature and being in denial, and there's an even bigger difference between being in denial and knowing exactly what's going on and choosing to stay anyway. That's not what is. We'll get to what it actually might be in a minute. Here's what really happened that changed the whole energy around this situation. Jaslyn and YoungBoy had children together, multiple. This woman gave this man her body, her time, her life, while also watching him bring children into the world outside of their relationship. Now, YoungBoy having kids with multiple women ain't new. We already established that. But when you're the woman he called his wife, when you're the woman with his name tatted on his body, that hits different. That's a public claim that came with a private betrayal. And throughout all of this, throughout every pregnancy, every new baby announcement, every internet rumor, Jaslyn stayed quiet. No messy posts, no subtweets, no explosive Instagram lives, nothing. For a woman of her generation, in the social media age, that kind of silence is almost harder to maintain than just blowing up. Because every day there's someone in her comments, someone sliding into her DMs, someone tagging her in posts asking, "Sis, you see this?" And she had to wake up every single morning, log onto these apps, and choose to not say anything. That takes a level of discipline, or a level of compartmentalization that most people can't understand unless they've been in it. But then came the incident that broke the internet. Y'all need to hear this part carefully because this is where everything shifted. So here's the setup. YoungBoy and Jaslyn just had a baby. Recent, fresh. Like the ink on the birth certificate is barely dry type fresh. Jaslyn is in that postpartum period, recovering, vulnerable, navigating new motherhood again while also trying to maintain a household, a relationship, and her own mental state. That is a hard time for any woman, point blank. And that's exactly when the internet got hit with a story that sent the whole fan base into chaos. A woman named Janina, and here's where the plot really thickens, who is reportedly the best friend of one of YoungBoy's other baby mothers, posted a story with YoungBoy together in the kind of context that don't leave a lot of room for innocent interpretation. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. His side chick is allegedly the best friend of another one of his baby mamas. This is not a random woman. This is someone embedded in the circle, someone who would have had proximity to that whole world already, someone who, and this is the part that'll make your jaw drop, would theoretically know exactly who Jaslyn is, what she means to YoungBoy publicly, and what it would mean to post that story. And that ain't an accident, fam. That's a message. When the internet found that story, it spread like wildfire. Every YoungBoy gossip page, every blog, every fan account, it was everywhere within hours. People were tagging Jaslyn. People were commenting on her posts. The pressure for her to respond was immense. And what did Jaslyn do? She stayed quiet. But here's what really happened in the days after. She made some moves online that people who know how to read between the lines started noticing. Not a direct statement, not a messy post, but the kind of subtle energy shift that tells you she's not oblivious. She sees it, she knows, and she's processing it in real time while the whole world watches. That's the moment everything changed, because now it wasn't just rumor. Now it had a face, a name, a posted story, and the woman he called his wife had to sit with that. Now here's where people started connecting the dots. If you go back through YoungBoy's history, and I mean really go back, not just surface level, you'll see that this man has operated the same way in every single relationship he's ever had. He moves in cycles, intense commitment, public declarations, tattoos and titles, and your different energy. And then the same old patterns creep back in. New women, new situations, old habits. But what's different with Jaslyn is the duration. Most of YoungBoy's relationships either exploded publicly or fizzled out relatively quickly. Jaslyn has been around. She's had multiple children with him. She's been through the legal situations, the relocations, the whole nine. This ain't a situation where she doesn't know what she signed up for at this point. And that raises the question that nobody wants to ask directly, but everybody is thinking, why is she still there? The street's been talking about this for months, and there are really only a few theories that hold water when you look at the facts. Theory 1, she loves him. Like, genuinely, down to her core loves this man despite all of it. It's not the most logical answer to outsiders, but love has never been logical. Love makes people stay in situations that look crazy from the outside. And YoungBoy, when he's present, when he's in his good space, is reportedly someone who can make the people around him feel like everything is fine. That charisma is real. Theory 2, and this is the one that's gonna get people in their feelings. It's the money. No cap. Let me keep it 100 with y'all because this is the uncomfortable part that a lot of people want to dance around but won't say directly. NBA YoungBoy is one of the most commercially successful independent artists in the history of rap. We're not talking about a man who's struggling. We're talking about a man who has generated hundreds of millions of streams, who moves millions in merchandise, who owns masters, who has built an empire, despite being locked out of mainstream radio and industry support for long stretches of his career. That money is real, and the lifestyle that comes with it, the houses, the security, the access, the stability, is something that once you're inside it is extremely difficult to walk away from. And here's the thing, Jaslyn ain't just a girlfriend who can dip out clean. She has children with this man, plural. She is tied to YoungBoy's world in a way that goes beyond feelings or titles. She is a mother of his children, which means regardless of what happens in their relationship, she will always be in his orbit. So when people ask, why does she stay? The realistic answer might be because she's already in, because her children are already in, because the alternative, being a young woman on her own, navigating the world outside of what she's built inside that relationship, is a different kind of hard. That's not shade. That's not me saying she's weak or she's dumb. That's me saying real life is complicated, and women in these situations are often making calculations that outsiders don't have full visibility into. But here's where it gets crazy, because if it's about the money, then the silence makes complete sense from a strategic standpoint. You blow up publicly, you go to war on the internet, you put all the drama out there, and what do you get? Attention? Sympathy? Neither of those pay bills or protect your children? Staying quiet, holding your position, being the wife and not the side chick? That keeps you in the house. That keeps you on the deeds, in the wills, at the dinner table. The streets understand this even if they won't it. And this brings me to something I've been thinking about since this whole Janina situation dropped. Jaslyn's silence has never been random. It's never been passive. I think, and this is my take, gang, keep that in mind, I think her silence has always been intentional. Because here's what happens when a celebrity's partner goes public with drama. It becomes a news cycle. People pick sides. The internet turns it into entertainment, and then it dies down, and the man in question uses that public blow-up as justification to distance himself, to paint her as the problem, to move on to the next situation with a clean slate. Jaslyn has never given YoungBoy that ammunition. She's never been the one who embarrassed him publicly. She's never been the one who brought drama to his door. In the ecosystem of YoungBoy's life, where everything is loud and chaotic and constantly on fire, she has been the one thing that didn't explode. That's a power move, even if it doesn't look like one from the outside. But then she broke it. She finally let people see that she wasn't okay. Not in a messy way, but in a real way. And when she did, the internet froze. Because we've been watching her absorb hit after hit in silence, and when she finally let a crack show, it confirmed what everybody suspected. She's human. She's been hurting. And no amount of money, no tattoo, no title can make that not true. So where does this leave everything? YoungBoy hasn't addressed the Janina situation directly. He hasn't come out with some big public statement defending Jaslyn or condemning what happened. And honestly, that tracks. YoungBoy doesn't do that. He processes his life in music, in interviews on his terms, in moves that happen on his timeline, not when the internet demands it. But here's what's interesting. YoungBoy has also, in the past, shown in lyrics and in rare interviews that he is not completely emotionally detached from Jaslyn. There have been moments where his care for her has come through, where it's clear that she does hold a different place in his life than others have. The tattoo wasn't random. The title wasn't random. She has something with him that the others didn't. But having a special place in YoungBoy's heart clearly doesn't protect you from YoungBoy's behavior. And that's the tragedy of this whole situation. Jaslyn is not the first woman to be in this position. She's not the first woman to be the one he really loves while still experiencing the full YoungBoy experience. And the painful reality is, she might not be the last. The question for her, and honestly, the question for every woman watching this is, at what point does the love, the money, the title, the tattoo stop being enough? At what point does your own peace weigh more than all of it combined? Let me zoom out for a second because this is bigger than Jaslyn and YoungBoy. What we're watching play out publicly is something that happens privately in millions of households that will never be on a gossip blog or a YouTube video. A woman who is tied to a man through children, through finances, through love, through identity, trying to figure out how to exist in a situation situation that is visibly painful while the whole world watches and judges. And the internet's reaction to this situation has been telling. Some people sympathize with Jaslyn completely. Some people say she knew what she was getting into. Some people are out here rooting for her to blow up and expose everything. And some people are asking questions about what it says about us as a culture that we're so entertained by all of it. Here's my take. Real recognize real. And what's real is that Jaslyn Michelle has shown more composure under fire than most people ever will. She walked into one of the most chaotic personal situations in celebrity culture, and she has navigated it without losing herself publicly, even when she might have been losing herself privately. That doesn't mean what's happening to her is okay. It's not. The cheating is not okay. The disrespect is not okay. Having a baby with someone and then having your side chick, who is cool with your other baby mama, post stories within weeks? That's a level of recklessness that goes beyond just being a bad boyfriend. That's a pattern. That's a lifestyle. And it's one that the woman who has his name tattooed on her soul has to live inside of. YoungBoy has 11 plus children now, multiple baby mothers, a wife in spirit, if not entirely in legal documentation. And through all of it, he has continued to operate exactly as he always has, making music, making moves, making babies, and making minimal concessions to the women who love him. The real tea? YoungBoy probably loves Jaslyn in the truest way he knows how to love someone. But YoungBoy's version of love has never included fidelity. It's never included exclusivity. And until something in his life forces a genuine reckoning with that, a loss that hits different, a consequence he can't wrap through, the pattern is going to continue. The question isn't whether Jaslyn knows. She knows. The question is what she decides to do with what she knows. And now that she's finally starting to let the silence crack even slightly, I think the next chapter of this story is going to be very, very different from the ones that came before it. Y'all, drop in the comments. Do you think Jaslyn is gonna stay or finally go? And do you think YoungBoy is ever gonna change, or is this just who he is? I wanna know what the real ones think. Because this ain't just about YoungBoy. This is about a woman who has given everything to someone who keeps showing her he's not built for what she needs. And whether she stays or she goes, like this video if you think Jaslyn needs to finally say exactly what she's feeling on her own terms. Subscribe because we don't sugarcoat nothing on this channel, and share this because somebody you know needs to see this breakdown. We keep it 100 out here always. Peace.